please give a super elitist welcome to the well-read Kirsten Milliken.
Well, I don't know about any of you guys, but I am internet dated out. And I know some of you have found love, whatever, on the internet, but for me, it just hasn't panned out, you know? I mean, they've all been pretty comically bad, from the mildly amusing to the heinously horrible. And so, you know, I thought, I'm gonna meet Mr. Right the normal, the old-fashioned way, you know, in a bar, or like at Salon, or the laundromat, or, you know, wherever, just not on the internet. So I canceled all the different websites that I was on, like 5 of them, and except for one, because I thought, you know, I don't want to tempt fate, you know, I want to keep one door open. So I kind of just like forgot about it, and just, you know, didn't even update it or anything. And then all of a sudden I get this email, like late last year, from this person that had responded to my profile. And that was kind of a shock, because I hadn't had any, you know, movement on it. So I read it, and it's like, "Dear Kirsten, I am a sucker for tall, blonde Dutch women who write and who sing." Oh my God, that is so sweet. He had read my profile. Now, for those of you who don't know, in internet dating, most people are lazy and just do like a wink, which is like an internet version of a wink. Or they talk about themselves. So the fact that he had read my profile and he was talking about me, well, oh, that was just so sweet. But then I kept reading, and it was a little off-putting. He was like, "Oh, you're so pretty. If you were in the room with me right now, I'd plant a big, wet, juicy one right on those lips." Well, you know, that could actually go either way. I hadn't read his profile yet, so it could be sexy or kind of creepy. So I read his profile. And he was neither sexy nor creepy. He just wasn't my type. So I was kind of like, well, that was a nice little ego boost. You know, I'll just let it go. I had no intention of going out on the date. So I called my friend and told her, and she's like, "Go on the date. You need to go on a date where someone adores you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. Totally." So, and besides, he found my abandoned profile at the bottom of the site. I'm like, I owed it to him, you know. So I emailed him my number. And there's something about me that if I'm not initially attracted to you, I could totally be attracted to you if you have a hot, cool, sexy voice. So he leaves a voicemail. I'm like, oh, he might have a hot, cool, sexy voice. I listened to his message, and he did not. And I'm not kidding, his message was, "Hi, Kirsten, this is Ted from the internet." I don't catch you. If you don't catch me, I'll catch you. I was like, this is like a message from a like old Southern Muppet or something. So I was like, okay, wait, I'm not gonna judge. I'm not gonna judge. Who am I to judge? This guy might be really nice. He's nervous. Oh, he's on my side. Blah blah blah. So he might be different, you know, when we're talking one-on-one. So I called him, and he wasn't different one-on-one. His voice was very much like a game show host. "Whoa, what have you won?" kind of thing the whole time. But, you know, we exchanged the basics, blah, blah, where are you from, blah, blah, where I'm from. And then he asked me out, and I said yes. And then the conversation turned weird, because he's like, "You know what I'm doing?" And I'm like, no. He's like, "I'm making up a huge vat of 15-bean soup. Oh, I love me the 15-bean soup. I make a whole mess of it, and then I freeze it, and then I eat it all winter." Part of me's like, who am I going out on a date with? And he doesn't live near a market, and he has to like sustain himself on 15-bean soup. And do I really want to go on a date with a guy that's been eating 15 bean soup? So, but anyway, we go on the date. I go home, I change into something not too sexy, something that says, "I tried." And I meet him at the restaurant, and he had told me he was a tall, bald guy. That's what his picture said. And so I see him, he's a tall, bald guy sitting at the bar, and so I'm like, "Oh, hey, Ted," and I'm ready to hug him. He's like, oh, wow, look at you. Oh, you're a pretty one. And it was kind of like a farmer looking at livestock at a 4-H event. And I was just like, and then the whole restaurant's looking at me, just open too, and I'm like, let's just get a table, you know? So we sit down, and what I didn't notice, and I don't know how I missed it on his profile, and somehow he may have like photoshopped it, he had a lazy eye that was going this way, and if you've ever met somebody with a lazy eye, you're trying to find the good eye. Well, I couldn't, because this eye was a shy eye. The kind that doesn't look directly at you, it kind of looks off. So I'm like spending the first hour of the day going, like, is he looking at me? Is he looking at me? You know? And finally after an hour, I'm like, shit, I'm just gonna look at everybody else. So I did, and I don't know if it bothered him, because I don't know what he was looking at. And to be quite honest, it was a boring date, and we talked for 2 hours about food, and I'm like, so, what's your favorite food? And he says, oh, well, I've never been asked that before. And I'm thinking, okay, well, really? Well, mine's chocolate. And he says, oh, of course it is. You're a girl. That's obvious. And I'm thinking, now, some people have asked me, actually, well, is he retarded? So then there's a lull in the conversation, and he starts to go in on the 15-bean soup again. Did I tell you about the 15-bean soup? And I'm like, yeah, you did. And after 20 minutes of hearing how he likes to store it and microwave it and freeze it and serve it, I finally asked the question he actually hadn't answered, but what 15 beans do you put in it? Like, well, I don't know. Someone else picks them out, and I just have to hope they made a good choice. It's like I'm on a date with my grandpa, and the guy's 32, and I'm starting to think maybe he is retarded. So, you know, my migraine gets the best of me. I'm like, oh, I gotta cut the date short. And, you know, he walks me to my car, and I say thank you, and I get in the car, and I'm like, I am never, ever, ever going on another internet date. This is exactly what I didn't want to have happen again. And I meant it, except that the other day, somebody else wrote me, and I know I don't want to tempt fate. He might be the one, so fingers crossed.